Carbs, they get a bad rap. Are they really the villain we've made them out to be? Which ones are the better ones, right? Well, let's clear up the confusion. I want to help you feel confident about carbs after bariatric surgery. Hey, I'm Steph Wagner, a registered dietitian specializing in bariatric surgery and also obesity management medications. In this video, I hope to answer your biggest questions about carbs. Why are carbs considered bad? Who decided that? How many carbs should you eat daily? Why do they make you feel hungry? And when can you reintroduce them after surgery? First, why are carbs considered bad? Well, let's back up a moment. I think a lot of confusion lives in the words we use when it comes to carbohydrates, which we often abbreviate to carbs. But oftentimes when someone is saying carbs, they really mean starchy foods. Foods that are carbohydrate rich, like grains, pasta, bread. Then it matters that we define carbs is to clear up confusion and even anxiety around foods that contain carbohydrates. So, carbohydrates are a macronutrient. Well, guess what? Macronutrients get abbreviated to macros. And we abbreviate things like macros, it instantly brings up more questions. What should my macros be? So maybe we should stop abbreviating too many things. Macronutrients are nutrients our bodies need in large quantities. Water is actually a macronutrient, but it's not calorie containing, so we don't think of it as a macro. The 3 calorie containing nutrients that we need in large quantities are protein, carbohydrates, and fat. And let me say that part again. We need all 3 in large quantities. So by nature of carbohydrates being a macronutrient, we need them. It also means they are not inherently bad, but the quality of carbohydrate sources, that's where it varies. There is no such thing as eating no carbs. In fact, let's go back to some of our definitions, right? Carbohydrates are a macronutrient. When someone says carbs, they usually mean starchy foods, foods that are high in starch or high in sugar, which can impact hunger control, blood sugar control, and certainly weight control, especially if they're eaten alone. They're not paired with another macronutrient like protein or fat. So when someone says, I'm eating no carbs, what they are often meaning is that they are not eating starchy foods or sweets. There are differing levels of quality of carbohydrate foods, and the same is true for protein or fat. A refined or simple carbohydrate will impact hunger and blood sugars even more so. So white bread, white pasta, rice, tortillas, or desserts like candies or pastries. They're simple because the body doesn't have to work as hard to break those foods down, and the body digests them, absorbs them, it goes into the bloodstream quickly. So it makes them simple carbohydrates. They don't take as much work, and they go swing blood sugars up high and come back down, especially after bariatric surgery when you might have what's called late dumping syndrome. Those foods are not bad, but they do have harsher symptoms, including interrupting your health goals. Now, complex carbohydrates are starchy foods that use whole grains like whole grain bread, pasta, rice, quinoa, or oats. Now, these foods are often considered healthier choices, and again, they aren't bad, but for weight control, there are still better options for fiber. Sometimes patients who are further in their journey and have lost their desired weight, they've kept their weight off, they're managing their hunger, they may reintroduce whole grains with their proteins and vegetables. For other patients, these foods can still cause hunger and blood sugar swings or cause swelling in their post-op stomach pouch, like with rice or oats kind of swelling. It just kind of makes you feel overly full and crampy. So carbs are not bad. Simple carbohydrates are less nutritional quality. Complex carbohydrates have more quality, but ideally carbohydrates after surgery or with obesity management medications are also where you're getting in your fiber. Vegetables and fruits are great sources of both carbohydrates and fiber. And vegetables are lower in carbohydrates than fruits. So this is why my recipes on bariatricfoodcoach.com are protein focused with vegetables to get in the fiber and some texture and some flavor. Now I know you're still wondering, but Steph, how much? How much? How many carbs? That answer drives so many people crazy because, of course, it differs. And there is research that supports low carbohydrate diets. There's also research that supports ketogenic diets. There is research that supports low calorie diets. In fact, there is not sufficient evidence that one diet plan beats all the others. Now stay with me though. If you're someone who really wants some hard and fast answers, I will give you my approach here in a moment. But I do want to be honest that it is okay if it's different for everyone. If you've had bariatric surgery or you're taking a medication to manage obesity or both, it's not about how much carbohydrate, it's more about the opportunity cost. You have limited real estate in your stomach. If you've either had a surgery where you have a smaller stomach or you've had a medication that is limiting your appetite, there's only so much food you're able to eat. This is why we start with protein first at meals to maximize the real estate. You'll get fat, our third macro, even in a lean protein source. So eating a meal of proteins and vegetables provides all three macros and is a great use of your stomach space, your real estate. So my approach when eating a meal is to take 2 bites of protein to 1 bite of vegetables, especially if you like numbers and structure. This ensures you're prioritizing protein, but you're still getting in some carbohydrates and fiber. And I know you're wondering about when can you enjoy some of the starchy foods or sweets. I understand that too. I'm a human, right? My biggest tip is to keep some protein in your stomach before you have another indulgent food to minimize symptoms like early or late dumping syndrome. And if you'd like me to cover that topic more in depth, late dumping syndrome, give me a thumbs up on this video and I'll get it on my calendar. Now I know this topic can bring up so many other questions, which is why I have a full course called Food Fundamentals inside my Premier Access membership to Bariatric Food Coach. These are video lessons that cover calories and protein and fiber and carbohydrates and nutrition labels and so much more. So you can find out more about that in the description link of the video. While you're down there clicking links, be sure and subscribe to my weekly email newsletter for free recipes, product reviews, bariatric eating tips, and videos like this one. Hey, thank you so much for watching.